This machine can print an entire car. How it works. A car rolling out of a printer sounds impossible, but it's happening. No assembly lines, no factories filled with workers, just a massive 3D printer layering high-tech materials until a fully functional vehicle takes shape.
More recently, we have added 3D printing to our lineup. The need for 3D printing arose when a lot of the new cars are a little bit more complex. It helps us build things without taking the vehicle apart.
These machines don't just build cars, they print them, piece by piece, faster and cheaper than ever before. Companies like Big Rep and Now Lab are proving that the future of car manufacturing isn't on conveyor belts. It's being built one printed layer at a time. If cars can be printed like a giant puzzle, what does that mean for the future of transportation?
To simulate a crash or something like that, but we need to get better mathematical models before we can really do that. But very soon.
When people hear about 3D printed cars, the first reaction is usually disbelief. How can a machine print something as big and complex as a car? It sounds like science fiction, but it's actually happening. Instead of traditional car manufacturing where different parts are made separately and then assembled, this machine prints the entire car layer by layer, using a process called additive manufacturing. Unlike conventional cars made from metal, plastic, and glass, a 3D printed car is built using engineering-grade materials like carbon fiber reinforced plastics. These materials are not just lightweight, but also incredibly strong, making them perfect for vehicle construction. The process works similarly to a 3D printer, but on a much larger scale. Instead of printing small objects, this machine prints a fully functional car chassis and body, piece by piece. It eliminates the need for huge assembly lines, cutting down on production time and cost. One of the best examples of this technology in action is Loki, a 3D printed autonomous electric pod car. Designed by Now Lab, Loki isn't just a car, it's a completely new way of thinking about transportation. It was built for short-distance urban travel, perfect for airport transfers, quick city commutes, or even local deliveries. Because it's printed using parametric modeling, it can easily be customized to fit different needs, whether that means adapting it for rough terrain, extreme weather, or personal preferences. Loki is fully electric and self-driving, making it an eco-friendly alternative to traditional transportation. It's designed for last-mile mobility, which means it's not meant to replace long-distance travel, but rather bridge the gap between public transport and a person's final destination. Imagine stepping off a train or subway and hopping into a sleek, self-driving pod that takes you straight to your office or home. That's the kind of future Loki is paving the way for. This new approach to car manufacturing isn't just about convenience. It's about revolutionizing mobility. Traditional car production takes weeks, sometimes even months, but a 3D printed car can be built in just a few days. Instead of waiting for parts to be shipped from different factories, the entire vehicle can be printed on demand, reducing waste and increasing efficiency. The ability to scan and reprint broken parts also means maintenance becomes faster and cheaper. Printing a full-size car sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, but thanks to Big Rep's large-scale 3D printers, it's already happening. These machines are built to handle massive printing jobs, creating cars piece by piece with incredible precision. Instead of assembling hundreds of parts from different manufacturers, our car can be printed as a single structure or in just a few large sections. This not only saves time and money, but also reduces waste and makes production far more efficient. The process begins with a digital blueprint. Engineers design the car using specialized software that customizes every detail, from size and shape to internal features and weight distribution. This software ensures that materials are used efficiently, cutting down on waste and keeping the final product lightweight yet strong. Because 3D printing allows for high customization, cars can be tailored to different terrains, weather conditions, or even personal preferences before they are printed.
What we printed this car out of was a 15% carbon fiber blend. We've done a lot of the 20%, and we've done up as high as 30%. It really just depends on the plastic.
Once the digital design is finalized, the printing process begins. Instead of metal and heavy industrial materials, these printers use carbon fiber infused plastics and other advanced composites. The printer builds the car layer by layer, with each layer hardening instantly to create a solid, durable structure. It's the same basic idea as a small home 3D printer, just on an enormous scale. Since the body and frame are printed as a single piece or in just a few large sections, there's no need for traditional welding or bolting everything together. This makes the final product stronger and more streamlined, without the weak points that often come with assembled parts. While the printer takes care of the car's structure, some components still need to be added manually. Motors, batteries, wheels, and electric systems are installed after printing is complete. Many of these vehicles use airless tires, which are more durable and never go flat. Embedded electronics and wireless connectivity make these cars incredibly smart, allowing them to integrate seamlessly into modern city infrastructure. Once the car is fully printed and assembled, it goes through a series of quality checks and safety tests. Every part of the car has been designed with precision, but real-world testing ensures that it meets performance and durability standards. One of the coolest features of this technology is Big Rep's Part DNA system. Every printed part has a unique digital ID, meaning if something breaks or wears out, it can simply be scanned and reprinted instead of being replaced with a completely new part. This kind of smart design reduces waste, lowers repair costs, and extends the life of the vehicle. The ability to print cars on demand is a game changer for the automotive industry. Traditional car manufacturing requires massive factories, supply chains, and long production timelines. With 3D printing, cars can be produced faster, cheaper, and more sustainably. The process also allows for greater flexibility, meaning that instead of mass-producing identical vehicles, cars can be designed for specific needs and locations. Whether it's for urban commuting, off-road adventures, or delivery services, a car can be printed exactly the way it needs to be. Traditional car manufacturing is a long and complicated process. It involves multiple factories, hundreds of suppliers, and thousands of individual parts that need to be produced, shipped, and assembled. This process can take weeks or even months before a single car is ready for the road. With 3D printing, that entire timeline changes. A car can be printed in just a few days. Instead of waiting for parts to be delivered, the entire structure is built on demand, eliminating delays and making production much faster. If there's a need for more cars, companies don't have to expand massive assembly lines or rely on complex logistics. They simply print more. One of the biggest advantages of 3D printed cars is the cost. Traditional car factories require expensive machinery, huge amounts of raw materials, and a large workforce to assemble everything. Molds and tooling alone can cost millions. 3D printing removes many of these costs. There's no need for heavy-duty assembly lines or custom molds, and there's far less material waste. This means the overall cost of production is lower, making cars more affordable for consumers. Faster production and fewer expenses mean companies can pass those savings down, making personal transportation more accessible to more people. Customization is another huge advantage. Most cars today are built in a limited number of designs and configurations. If someone wants a more personalized vehicle, they usually have to pay extra for upgrades or modifications. With 3D printing, customization is built into the process from the start. A small, energy-efficient pod car can be printed for someone who needs a simple commuter vehicle for city travel. A sturdier version can be designed for rougher terrains. The shape, size, and even internal features of the car can be adjusted based on specific needs. This level of flexibility is unheard of in traditional car manufacturing, where changing a design can take years and cost millions. Sustainability is another major benefit. The traditional way of building cars generates a lot of waste. Excess metal, plastic, and rubber are often discarded during the manufacturing process. 3D printing is far more efficient, using only the exact amount of material needed. Many of these materials can also be recycled or biodegradable, making the process more environmentally friendly. Since most 3D printed cars are designed to be electric, they also contribute to reducing emissions. With built-in smart technology and autonomous capabilities, these vehicles could eventually lead to a more efficient and eco-friendly transportation system. 3D printed cars are still in the early stages, but they are already proving that the way we build and think about vehicles is changing fast. Traditional car manufacturing has remained largely the same for decades, relying on massive factories, complex supply chains, and long production cycles. But with 3D printing, all of that could be disrupted. Instead of waiting months for a new car model to be designed, built, and shipped, people could soon have cars printed on demand, customized exactly to their needs. Imagine walking into a car shop, not to browse through pre-made models, but to choose a design, customize it, and have it printed right there in the store. Dealerships could become print-on-demand centers where buyers select their car size, features, and even color, and within days, drive off with a brand new, tailor-made vehicle. This would eliminate the long wait times associated with ordering a car and remove the need for massive warehouses full of unsold inventory. Looking further ahead, 3D printing technology might not even be limited to commercial production. With advancements in home 3D printers, people could eventually print their own vehicles at home. Instead of buying a car, they could purchase a digital design, feed it into their own high-tech printer, and print the parts needed to assemble a working vehicle. This may sound far-fetched, but home 3D printers have already evolved from single hobbyist tools to machines capable of producing complex mechanical parts. As this technology improves, printing a functional car at home could become a real possibility. Cities could also play a big role in adopting 3D printed transportation. Instead of investing in traditional buses, taxis, or rental cars, urban areas could introduce fleets of 3D printed electric pod cars designed for short distance travel. These small self-driving vehicles could be stationed at train stations, airports, and busy city centers, offering a convenient and eco-friendly way to get around. Because 3D printed vehicles are cheap and quick to produce, cities could easily scale their fleets based on demand, reducing congestion and making public transport more efficient. Companies like Big Rep and Now Lab are already proving that this future is possible. They are constantly pushing the limits of what 3D printing can do, refining the process to make it faster, more affordable, and more reliable. As technology advances, more manufacturers will likely join the movement, making 3D printed cars a mainstream reality rather than just an experimental concept. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.